Hey folks, it's Andrew from Gemba Red, and today we're reviewing the Vevor full body panel. Now, Vevor appears to be some sort of online hardware store, but they've also ventured into making red light therapy devices. So I got this full body panel. It was on sale for, my price was about $400, but the price seems to fluctuate. You can get it on Amazon or on their website, so maybe, track them for different discounts. But we're starting in this view so we can point out this full body panel is quite a bit shorter than what the standard full body size is. The Vevor full body panel is only 27 inches tall, and kind of the standard full body panel that first came to market was about 36 inches tall. So here on the right we've got the RL Pro 300. You can see it's significantly taller here. So it's important to check the dimensions on the specifications tab to find the actual dimensions, because they're going to claim to be full body, but then, the actual dimensions might be different than what you envisioned. And typically the dimensions of the panel are one of the only specifications you can trust when you're shopping for a red light therapy device. And so the Vevor panel uses double chip 660 and 850 nanometers, 660 red and 850 near infrared. So you can see when both the red and near infrared modes are on, then all the LEDs are illuminated because the chips are being shared. There's one chip for the red and one chip for the near infrared behind each lens. As opposed to the single chip brands would have one that's illuminated because that's the red, and then other LEDs would be not illuminated because those are the invisible near infrared. And so like the confusion with the Shenzhen Idealite RL300 Pro, even though they have equivalent number of LEDs for red and near infrared, the distribution of the power output might be different. And so the total power consumed at full blast is 293 watts. So that is a lot of power in a relatively compact unit. And remember, you don't necessarily need full body coverage for full body effects because it's a systemic treatment. As long as you're covering a big part of your torso, you still do get full body effects. For example, if you followed Glenn Jeffrey's lab, he's doing the experiments just treating people's backs, and he's getting a systemic response in the blood glucose for the whole body. Okay, let's check the intensity at 12 inches away. You'll move the ruler out of the way because some people say that'll block the light. So you can see we get 39 milliwatts per centimeter squared at 12 inches away, which is a very good intensity, especially at this distance. So we see 39 milliwatts per centimeter squared. There's negligible flicker. The flicker's so low it can't detect. There's always a little bit of flicker if you had a more sophisticated flicker meter, but this meter is registering 0. It just means it can't detect anything. But there's a little wrench that could be thrown in the works here, is that it looks like the red could be disproportionate to the near infrared. In this case, it's the opposite of what we saw with the RL 300 Pro, is that the red is more dominant than the near infrared. And so I did the same thing as last time. I downloaded the spectrum and I found out the percentage of each range, and I found 64% of this intensity is red, and that leaves 36% is near infrared. So even though we have equivalent number of LEDs in the double chips of red to near infrared, the power outputs are kind of disproportionate. And this panel does not have any kind of dimming features or where you can adjust the brightness or the intensity on some sort of fancy screen, and so we have to adjust the intensity the old way. Back in my day, we adjusted the intensity by using our feet. When you move closer, you get more intensity. When you move further away, you get less intensity. And so at 6 inches away, we got 51 milliwatts per centimeter squared. It's no surprise Vevor was claiming, you get 100 milliwatts per centimeter squared at some distance away, which obviously is not true, but 51 is a very respectable intensity for 6 inches away. But again, that disproportionate nature of red to near infrared is going to follow us, no matter what the distance is. And so again, this is 12 inches away, about 39 milliwatts per centimeter squared. And so at 24 inches away, we get 21 milliwatts per centimeter squared. So, that's a nice intensity to start at. To get familiar with full body red light therapy, you should be able to get a lot of benefits, even being 24 inches away. Okay, so the magnetic field EMF, it's starting at about 1 milligauss is the ambient, and then we'll see if this increases when we turn on the panel. And so it increased up to 2 milligauss, so it's about a 1 milligauss increase caused by the panel. So it's about 1 milligauss at 6 inches away. That's not terrible, but again, you can use it 12 inches away and probably be fine. So here we're at 12 inches away. and it's 1.2. So again, it's 0.2 milligauss, so super low, not an issue. Once you're 12 inches away, it's negligible. And they do have these nice convex lenses, the lenses that protrude a little bit out from the panel, and you can see how much more penetration you get when you actually press into a lens like this. So it does make me want to do skin contact method with this panel. We can see the milligauss up close is what, 12 milligauss. What's that, 10? Can you see that? 11, 12. So it, you know, it's pretty up there. If you're comfortable with getting a little bit of extra EMF, you can take advantage of these convex lenses and really press. Look how much deeper it gets when you just simply press on it. Let's see if we can check the intensity right over one of these lenses, see how much intensity we get. So yeah, it's 216 milliwatts per centimeter squared when you're really up close to it. So again, you'd have to be very careful with your dosing and how long you use it. If you actually want to use it at skin contact, you're taking the risk of, you know, overdosing, overheating, and too much EMF. And the electric field EMF is always pretty low because the metal panels are usually grounded with the third prong, so the electric field is super low. And just to go over the controller real quick, it's a very familiar controller to me because it's made by Sadie Light, which even their sticker on the back of the panel says it's made by Sadie Light, so they're not even hiding who their manufacturer is. But it's a simple tap power button to turn it off and on, and then this red and near infrared button scrolls through the different modes. So it starts out in near infrared only mode. Then when you press it once, it adds the red, so you have red and near infrared. Then you press it again, and it's only red. And it's kind of confusing because it doesn't remember your settings. So if I turn it off in red and near infrared mode, a lot of panels, especially like the smart ones with the LCD screens, if I turn it off with certain settings, okay, you turn it off, and I turn it back on, normally it turns back to the original, the last settings that you had when you turned it off, but it always defaults back to near infrared only. So it's kind of annoying. Every time you turn it on, you have to scroll through to get back to whatever setting you prefer. But again, it's not like there's a lot of settings because you can't adjust the brightness or the dimness of the red or near infrared anyway, so you can only turn if they're off or on. And then the modes, you can switch to pulsing. They've got preset for 10 hertz and 40 hertz, and then there's some manual way you can input your own custom modes, but I did check the 10 hertz and the 40 hertz. Both of those are outputting the right frequencies, so that's good. I'm not going to do it on screen because then I'd have to put a seizure warning on. But then you can set a timer, or, you know, I usually just ignore the timer and set a timer on my phone, but you can set a timer. It's got 10, 20, or 30 minute presets down here. But yeah, that's my main annoyance, is that it doesn't remember your last mode, and the default is near infrared only. I would expect the default just to be both red and near infrared, because, you know, I assume most people just want to use the combo. So it's kind of weird. You have to turn it on and then scroll back to what settings you wanted. So that's it. That's our review of the Vevor full body red light therapy panel. Thanks for tuning in.